Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of My Name is Dad. Let's just quickly start out with the sponsor, which is Point B Grading and Turfgrass Maintenance, LLC. I am a landscape contractor. I do a lot of laser grading. That is my specialty. I also do a lot of irrigation work, and I work on sports fields. Most of my laser grading work is done on sports fields. I laser grade a lot of infields of baseball and softball and that kind of stuff. But I can do lawn leveling, all those other different types of landscape contracting things. So check out the website at pointbgrading.com, and you can send us an email at pointbgrading@gmail.com. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of My Name is Dad. And we are moving on to the NFL Week 2 and college football Week 3. This week, I am alone by myself because Mr. Brody Benson, he was like so embarrassed from his picks last week. He didn't even have the gall to show up and do the podcast with me. Even though that's not true, he's actually at his mother's house. But he did send me his picks. So we will still have Brody's picks, but he will not be here to talk football with me this week. Okay, so let's move on. Let's just quickly recap Week 2 of college football. One of the big things was that Arizona State University went on the road and lost to Mississippi State. And all of those dumbass cowbells in their stadium. Now, this is significant because ASU was ranked in the top 25. Mississippi State wasn't. But going on the road, especially early in the season, all the way in the heat and the humidity down in Mississippi State, I don't even know what city they're in. But with all those cowbells, they just bang those cowbells all game long. It sounds terrible. But ASU does not get the win over there. And they drop out of the top 25. The other one was that Oklahoma did beat Michigan, as I predicted in my bets. The other big thing going on was that South Florida, the University of South Florida, which is in Tampa, Florida, they beat the University of Florida, which was huge because this is another big-time upset. But one of the things that I kind of just recently kind of learned about was that South Florida wins the McGuffin Award. Now, the McGuffin is just some made-up award that has been passed down since the very first football game ever, which was Rutgers and whoever. Ever since then, they've kind of had this make-believe trophy that has been passed down. So let's say the very first game was let me see if I can look it up here. It was Rutgers and Princeton. Rutgers won, so then Rutgers then held the McGuffin Award, the make-believe award. But after that, whoever beat Rutgers, then they got the McGuffin Award. And it's been tracked and passed down since 1869. So recently, the most recent one is that Florida had the McGuffin Award. South Florida beat them. So South Florida now holds the McGuffin Award. And this is the first time a non-Power 4 conference, not one of the big schools, has held the McGuffin Award in a long time or something like that. So that's just kind of a little fun little trivia piece. But so that's kind of the recap of Week 2. Not much going on. Texas did win. Arch Manning did kind of rebound, and they definitely got the win. Texas Tech destroyed Kent State. We always love my Texas Tech Red Raiders. But looking ahead at Week 3, we do have a couple of big matchups. The first one, we got a couple of rivalry games. Now, this week, we have some rivalry games, but they don't have big names to them or names. But some of the first one is Georgia at Tennessee. This is a big. This is mostly all the SEC games are rivalry games. But Georgia, Tennessee, they definitely do hate each other. They do share a border. So Georgia, Tennessee. One of the next big games is South Florida, who I just talked about, who owns the McGuffin Award, is going up against. They're going to be at Miami University. So this is South Florida is based in Tampa, Florida, and Miami, obviously based in Miami. So another bunch of Florida schools going against each other. Now, if South Florida can win this game, they will be 3-0 and have a bunch of good wins on their resume. And if they can run the table in their conference, they will probably be definitely a pretty good seed going into the college football playoffs. So A lot of people are kind of rooting for South Florida, but we'll kind of see what happens here and then how the rest of the season plays off. All right, another rivalry game going on this week is Arkansas at Ole Miss. Again, this game doesn't really have like a special name to it or anything like that, but Arkansas Ole Miss is there again, kind of like bordering states or whatever it is. The schools are kind of closer proximity. So again, this is an old school SEC rivalry game. Next one is Florida at LSU. These two schools hate each other. They've again old school SEC rivalry game. This one doesn't have a big name to it, but they have played a lot of games against each other, and they do not like each other. Florida LSU. The other big game going on this week, it's not necessarily a rivalry game, but we got Texas A&M visiting Notre Dame. Notre Dame did lose their very first game, so this is a big game for Notre Dame. We'll see what they can do against old Texas A&M, those Aggies. All right, and then the last one is a big-time rivalry game. This is one of my favorite ones. This is the University of Pittsburgh, Pitt, playing at West Virginia. This is called the Backyard Brawl. All right, and these two schools hate each other. It's just kind of like we're like, you know, like Pittsburgh is kind of known for their like, you know, steel working and industrialism, where West Virginia is kind of more just like hillbilly kind of stuff. And these schools hate each other for whatever reason, but they do. And kind of one of the funny things is a little trivia piece is that so at the Pitt games, they sing Sweet Caroline. It's like become some sort of tradition there and everything. So it goes like Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. When they do the ba, 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 they go, let's go Pitt. Then it goes, good times never seem so good. And they go Pitt, go Pitt, go Pitt. Well, at the West Virginia games, they sing it a little different. They go, Sweet Caroline. Then you got the ba, ba, ba part comes up. And they go, eat shit, Pitt. So you got Sweet Caroline, eat shit, Pitt. Good times never seem so good. And they go, eat shit, eat shit, eat shit. So these schools hate each other. If you ever get that, you can look that probably up on YouTube. Or maybe if they happen to show it on, you can hear it on TV at some point. But check that out. Yeah, the Backyard Brawl is a big time rivalry, and it's a fun one. Okay, so let's move on to our picks. I'm just going to go ahead and do Brody's right off the bat here. Now, Brody sent in his picks to me, and his dog of the week. Well, actually, yeah, he sent his dog in first. So it says South Florida plus 17.5 at Miami. Brody must be drinking the Kool-Aid of South Florida, and he thinks they're going to at least cover the 17.5 points against Miami. His cover pick this week is South Carolina minus 3.5 versus Vanderbilt. South Carolina and Vanderbilt are SEC teams. South Carolina does look pretty good this year, but Vanderbilt still's got they got their quarterback Diego Pava, who's a pretty good guy. So this I think is going to be a close game. His straight pick is Texas Tech versus Oregon State. Texas Tech is favored by like 20 plus points. He took an easy one on this one. So let me just go ahead and move over to see what my picks are. All right, my picks are a little bit similar kind of maybe to Brody's. My first one is my cover pick is South Florida plus 17.5. I don't know if they're going to win this game, but I imagine they're going to put up a pretty good fight against Miami. So plus 17.5, I think that South Florida will cover the spread. So I did bet on them. My next one, my straight up pick is Georgia versus Tennessee. I know Georgia's on the road, minus 3.5, but I think Georgia's going to win this game. Georgia's really good, strong defense. I mean, there's no surprises in a Georgia-Tennessee game. They know what they're getting themselves into when they go into Tennessee, and I think they're going to get the job done. And my dog pick, my dog is West Virginia in the Backyard Brawl, plus 7 at Pittsburgh, or they're at home. Yeah, West Virginia at home against Pittsburgh. So again, yeah, plus 7, home dog. In a big-time rivalry game, I will take that, even though West Virginia has not looked good. But they're going to get up for this game, and I think they're going to cover plus 7, if not win this game outright. All right, let's move on to the NFL. And going on in the NFL in week 1, we had a couple amazing games. First of all, the Cardinals did beat the Saints. They kind of made a game out of it. The Saints, Spencer Rattler did play well, well-ish. My takeaway from the Cardinals-Saints game is that the Saints they did not want to throw the ball down the field. They were trying to help out Spencer Rattler as much as they could, and they were just throwing anything. They were just throwing 5 to 7 yard passes like the whole time. Again, what it does is that it takes away like the pass rush and those blitzes, because all the plays are designed to get the ball out super, super quick. So the Cardinals only had 1 sack in the game. I don't even remember when it was. It might have been like a scramble or something like that. But I think that was designed to, they were not going to throw the ball 15 plus yards down the field and have to, have Spencer Rattler hold on to the ball to then throw it, to hold on and then throw it down the field on those like longer completions. They weren't going to do that. So all the passes were designed to short, quick passes, take away the pass rush, take away the blitzes, and it worked. The Cardinals could not get any pressure on Spencer Rattler. He was first read, second read, boom, ball's gone. Nowhere near the 4 seconds. So, and then the Saints defense played pretty well. Of course, some of you might have heard that Kyler Murray was sick. He was throwing up before the game. He still played kind of well. The Cardinals offense, the rushing offense still played well. The Cardinals, they played pretty good for being on the road. But I expect that they should improve as the season goes on. And the Cardinals are always very good early in the season. It's after their bye week when things really start to fall apart. And I imagine it's going to be the same thing this year. After their bye week, they're definitely have a much tougher schedule. And, I don't know. It's just, they just run out of steam. I don't know why. I don't know why the Cardinals do that, but they do. All right. The other big games was it was the Sunday night game, which was the Bills and the Ravens. Man, that was a hell of a game. The Ravens basically, both teams, I don't know what happened. There was no defense in this game whatsoever. The Ravens were up by 15 points going into the fourth quarter. They looked dominating. Derrick Henry basically did whatever he wanted. He just ran all over these guys. Lamar Jackson looked good. But again, the Bills looked good too. They looked like a solid team. They just fell behind by 15 points going into the fourth. And this was like one of the first games where a team had come back from 15 points down when the other team had scored 40 or more points. So the Bills did come back. They only had, they were down by like 15 points with half of the fourth quarter already gone. They came back with the fourth quarter with like 5 minutes left. So they came back, scored 15 points and won 41-40 against the Ravens. It was an amazing game. Big hype up for the Bills. This definitely could have future implications of tiebreaker stuff going on for playoff seeding, something like that. So it was a really, really big game. And I imagine that the Ravens are not happy about this. Again, this was the first time. It was like a team that had scored 40 points and was up by more than 10 points in the fourth quarter. They were 277-0. They had never lost before, except now. The Ravens are now 277-1 because the Ravens had lost this game. So that was a big game. The other one was the Monday Night Football game, which was another good game that the Bears kind of dominated early on. J.J. McCarthy did not look good. He looked like a rookie quarterback, but eventually he kind of found his feet. He found some comfortability. And he came back and actually played a pretty good game, scrambling, throwing the ball, and the Vikings did come back and win that game. Okay, now let's move on to our cover straight dog, and let me look up Brody's picks here. Okay, Brody's first cover pick, he is going with the Los Angeles Chargers -3.5 at the Raiders. He must not have been too impressed with the Raiders game in New England. But he's going with the Chargers, or maybe he was just super impressed by the Chargers beating the Chiefs. So Brody's going Chargers -3.5 to cover that spread against the Raiders. His straight pick is the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys, beating the New York Giants. I think this is just a thing where he doesn't think the Giants are very good. I don't think most people won't. And then his dog pick is the New England Patriots +1 at Miami. And I already questioned Brody on this one that the New England Patriots normally do not play well down in Miami, especially early in the year when it's nice and hot and humid down there in Miami. But Miami looked terrible. New England did not look any better, but we'll see what happens in this one. Okay, my cover pick this week is the Cleveland Browns +11.5 at the Baltimore Ravens. This is kind of Joe Flacco is the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. They play pretty well against the Bengals. I think that this is the big spread. 11.5 in the NFL is a big spread. So I will take the Browns and Joe Flacco to cover the spread against his old team. So let's go Browns to cover 11.5. I think it's going to be 10 to 7 point game. Maybe one score close into the fourth quarter. Then maybe Ravens get a field goal at the end and take it to 10. So let's go Browns. My straight up pick is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're actually -3, but it doesn't matter. Pittsburgh Steelers to win against the Seattle Seahawks. The Steelers are at home. I mean, this is Seahawks going all the way to Pittsburgh. The Seahawks, kind of didn't look that good. The Steelers, again, they may have some offense going on with Mr. Aaron Rodgers. They're at home. So I'll take the Steelers to win this one against the Seahawks. And then my dog pick is the New York Jets +6.5 against the Bills. Again, the Bills are coming off a big-time, super high win. The Jets played well against the Steelers, right? They ended up losing that game, but they played well. And I think they want to get this one. They want to make a game out of this one against the Bills to get 1-1. If not, I think they're going to make it a close game. Maybe it comes down to the wire. So I will take the New York Jets +6.5 as my dog pick against the Buffalo Bills. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you had a good time, just myself and not Brody talking. But Brody will be back next week. He's at his mother's house this week, and he had a football game, which Brody won. They won 42-6, I believe. That was the final score. Brody did score a touchdown. He is a freshman in high school, so they play on Wednesdays, and we're recording on Thursdays. So look forward for Brody being back next week, and we'll make fun of all his picks that were wrong, and we'll pat me on the back for all my picks that are right. All right, thanks for listening, and see you next week. Thanks. Bye.